What you may not know is that a number of commercial metropolitan stations have tried a country format, but with very mixed success. You may have all heard of 2SM in Sydney. In its various iterations, it has tried a solely country music format twice. Around 1993 and 1996. In 93, 2SM broadcast Sydney's hottest country. It only reached, at its peak, a 4% share. A 4% share will not sustain a commercial radio station. 4% advertisers are not interested in that smaller an audience. If we could put a country music station on air and get even an 8% rating, 15% of course, like 4KQ would be great, commercial stations would be competing for country music formats. They're not, because our listeners are telling us that is not what we want to hear. That is not what we want to hear as a full format. And keeping that in mind, commercial radio is just that, commercial. The good news with the advent of stars like Taylor Swift, the McClymonts, Lady Antebellum, Florida Georgia Line, Casey Chambers, Troy Cassadaly, Keith Urban, Lee Kernaghan, Gina Jeffries, Catherine Britt, Adam Harvey, etc., 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 is that country music is broadening its appeal. It's crossing over, if you will, and it's now attracting wider airplay on networked metropolitan and regional radio stations. I think the future potential is good. Although, as I've said on previous occasions, perhaps the label country places an artist into a category that suffers from an image problem. I think the other people you have to convince when you're looking at metropolitan stations to add a country, and I'm saying that in inverted commas, because many of them are crossover and many of them would have fit into the pop or the adult contemporary formats. But the minute you go to one of those young, hip program directors, and we all know them, and say, I've got a great country artist, I've got a great country track, straight away they go, oh, that's not my format. I'd be dropping that label for some of your new artists and saying, I've got a new great artist with a great sound, a great following, it'll fit perfectly into your format, let me demonstrate. Let's just not lock people into a particular label or genre.
We like to find a new artist, and there's a passion and belief from when we discover and these opportunities come our way. And the conspiracy theory is, if it's even taking someone to play in a boardroom to start with, to have the access to get people, true believers along the way. And then they're getting artists to say do some activation, to be in the studio, other performances, social media, sharing that information about the radio station on their platforms and vice versa, getting the radio partners involved early, getting them to gigs. It's not, I wouldn't call it rocket science, but again, what I was saying before about having a partnership and getting other people, our media partners, to buy into these careers of these great artists.
Country music has not had an official, properly researched and delivered airplay chart in all the years I've been in the business, and I doubt there was one before that. So that's going to be a fantastic asset and tool for us as we move forward with it, and we look forward to a long history of association on that one, mate.
When it comes to airplay charts, I think it's important to understand at the base level what those charts are trying to represent. There are plenty of charts out there. Some are about representing sales, some are about representing people's opinion. What a radio airplay chart at its core is trying to represent is audience. What we are trying to reflect with that audience is a lead trend indicator that can be used by other parts of the industry, be it program managers, being it tour promoters, being it the labels, that can generate confidence and generate support in the fact that out there are people listening to this artist, there are people that are getting behind this artist, and there are people that are likely to support it, whether it be about tours or whether it be about sales.
There's an extreme amount of talent here. It just needs direction. And that starts from a manager's point of view, or from the artist's point of view, finding a team around them that knows how to say no. No, that's not good enough. No, that photo looks like shit. No, that song's not. It just, and that has to happen. And the trouble is, they get their mums and dads and their cousins and their brothers and their friends telling it's fantastic and this and that. They have to start finding amazing material. And as a manager, that's what I have to help my artists do. And when I took on McAllister Camp, I had that big hard meeting, sitting down with them, and they've had 2 great albums. A lot of stuff on there was good. Some was, a couple of great ones, but to me, I saw huge potential. But I just think they needed to find the right material and then start to build their profile. And that's what we set about doing, and we thought we're not going to settle for second best on anything. And if that means you don't write every song on this album, you have to get used to that. And if you don't want that, then I'm probably not the manager for you, and your career is probably just going to plateau.
Well, mate, it definitely, you know, as Dennis said and Darren, it really comes down to the song. And, you know, you can't push shit uphill, you know? You've got to have good material. And it makes all the difference. Like, all through the 80s, I was pushing shit uphill, you know, because I didn't have the songs. And then I made the Outback Club and Three Chain Road and Hacktown, and you'd go out on stage and it was just, everything just lit up. It just worked. So, in terms of the relationship with radio, it's having that personal relationship, and it's got to be genuine. And I've got a book at home. I should use what it says a little bit more often, but it's called The Power of the Handwritten Note. And just to give you an example of a young artist that I met last year, she's only 14 years old, her name's Taylor Pfeiffer. And some people know her as the Banjo Girl. And I did a little live jam with her on ABC Radio with Lisa Herberton. She introduced me to her. And this little kid impressed the hell out of me, and we put her on the concert in the park last year, and we're going to do it again tonight. But I saw Lisa in an interview yesterday at the ABC, and she said, you know, Taylor, she's been in contact, and she just recently got a little handwritten note thanking her for all she's done for her, and a poster, a signed poster. And so it's stuff like that. It's grassroots stuff, but when I think about careers and songs and all that, I like to think of it like building a fire. And you want to start off with a little bit of kindling and just build it up nice and slowly, and then put on the logs and watch it burn.
That's a very Lee Kernaghan analogy. I like that one.